I am inside of a home that's been completely burned down. As you can see, it's just metal around me, bent metal, just kind of the skeleton of this structure. You can see the chairs, the table. I'm actually afraid to move a little bit further. All that is left is nails down here, so I don't want to step on them. And this house is owned by Amy Carr and her husband, who have been coming to this summer home for the past almost 10 years. And we're just devastated to see their home burned down.
First, I just want to say it is so cold outside. We've been out here for about 10 minutes and I can't feel my hands. But if you take a look behind me, we can see people staying here, sleeping out on the street, wrapped up. You can see in a couple of blankets, just trying to stay warm. I do want to take you through the airport. Right now, we're not really seeing people sleeping out here. It's still way too early, but I want to take you on the other side. Let's take a look at the check-in counter here at the El Paso International Airport. There's definitely some sort of a line forming, but nothing really too intense. We're definitely seeing people coming in and out of the airport. It is busier than usual, but like you guys said, it is because of that holiday travel that is happening right now. But if you turn back to my other side, this is where we can see most of those migrants that are resting. They're just awaiting for their tickets, and some of them actually do have their tickets. I was able to speak to some of them. Like I said, they have their flights already set in the next couple of days, but some don't. And we've seen this before. People are unsure really where to go, so they come to the airport. One family we spoke to is waiting arrangements from a family member in Virginia. They just crossed to El Paso today and immediately came to the airport. They told me they didn't know where else to go. And another man that is here with his wife, they have been here for a couple of days. He says they're allowed to stay at the airport and even sleep here. Now, I do want to show you one part of the airport. We were not actually allowed to film in there, so I can't really actually go there and show you, but it is down further where most of those migrants are just sitting. We could see them resting and just making some calls. We heard a lot of people just making those arrangements, some of with their family members or whoever they have here, trying to get those flights done. Still a lot of police activity. We're seeing FBI agents as well. But I have here a parent whose son is in the school right now. His name is Saul Rivas. Sir, can you tell me how were you notified of this incident?
Well, I received a notification by internet from the school that is temporarily closed. So we're really alert, so we want to know what really happened here.
And tell me, have you heard from your son?
Well, I have not heard from my son yet, but apparently everything is good. We tried to call to the school, but nobody answered the phone.
Trevor and Stephanie, I'm now outside of the National Weather Service, and if you can't tell, the winds are really, really strong. I'm tearing up. I'm pretty sure I crunched on some sand as well, and I feel like if I was to let myself go like this, I would probably just keep on standing. I wouldn't fall down. But I do have Joe here with me. He's a meteorologist with the National Weather Service. He's going to tell us a little bit about how they actually measure the speed of this wind. So Joe, tell us, what do we have right there?
We might not be able to build a snowman tomorrow morning. We'll see, but I'm definitely feeling like one. Look at all this snow on me that's falling here on Trans Mountain. I wish I could show you the overlook looking at the city, but everything is absolutely blurred. You cannot see the city whatsoever.
And just the fact that we've had 4 homicides this year, and out of those 4, 3 involved teens. And I mean, in the past couple of weeks, we've reported about a teen girl found dead under suspicious circumstances in an alley. We've reported about teens shooting outside of vehicles with guns. And me and you, actually, we were on air for about almost 3 hours straight reporting on the Cielo Vista Mall shooting. Well, I'm about to enter Chucky's here in Las Cruces that seems to be operating normal, but just hours ago was in a complete mess because of a man who entered, assaulted the clerk and also the customer. Take a look at the story. Shocking video footage coming to our newsroom, a surveillance camera showing the exact moment of the shooting in Albuquerque on November 19th involving NMSU basketball player Mike Peake and a UNM student. Good evening, I'm Carla Draxler, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll go straight to our sports director, Colin Deaver, who has been following the story. Colin, what was in that video? What can we see?
A couple bites on my hand. I got one right here and a couple right here.
Joseph Sepulveda picking up a package in front of his parents' house when he was attacked by a dog.
And that's when the officer pulled out his baton. He kind of tried to fend it off a little bit with that. That didn't help, and that's when he drew his weapon.
Police officer shooting the dog.
It hurts to see that happen, but I really think there was no choice. You know, he was a very, very, vicious dog.
And another neighbor's son getting hurt too.
My son took off running because it was coming after him, and it bit his leg and his arm before he jumped on somebody's car across the street.
Saying he had made multiple previous reports about this dog, suspecting negligence from owners that he says left the dogs alone.
But I haven't seen him in the last week.
I tried ringing the bell, but no answer. You could see the backyard fence broken, dog feces everywhere, and an empty bowl.
A lot goes into an animal's behavior.
El Paso Animal Services responding to the call as well, taking the other dog that also came from that backyard into their custody, saying breed has nothing to do with this behavior.
Ultimately, the responsibility is on us. If your pet does do anything to anyone or any other animal, the responsibility is going to be on the pet parent and not on the animal itself.
And the neighbors still in shock, saying the response to the incident was not fast enough.
Anybody getting bit could have been way avoided.
Also putting blame on the owners.
If you're not fit to take care of a dog, don't get one whatsoever.
Residents of Mountain Walk condominiums in Northeast El Paso are very frustrated, saying they had to pay for a private fire hydrant that is not even in use for the entire neighborhood since 2001. And now they want their money back.
Bill Tupi was looking at his monthly bills, noticing his condominium complex in Northeast El Paso was receiving an extra bill for a designated fire line.
He was convinced he should have been able to find a fire hydrant on our property or immediately adjacent to it. There's none to be found.
After checking with the fire department, he appealed with El Paso Water for reimbursement. He says ever since 2001, the neighborhood has grown around them, and there are other fire lines owned by the city, which means there's no need for the private one the residents have been paying for.
And El Paso Water has insisted they will only reimburse us for the most recent 4 years of the billing error.
The condo complex was built in 1985, but this fire hydrant of Stony Hill Drive was built in 1988. But the one on the parallel street was built in 2012. And the problem is, Tupi says EP Water could not determine which one of those was the designated one or if there were any.
Chief engineer, she said, looking at these two hydrants on the map, neither of those was the dedicated line or ever had been the dedicated line for our property.
Which raises the question, what were the residents even paying for? Tupi says EP Water still refused to reimburse for all 20 years, which he estimated is around $11,000.
And that's one of the more frustrating things. There's been no explanation or no reasoning.
KTSM reached out to them for an interview and received a statement saying it is property owners' responsibility to let them know if the service line is no longer needed. They said they could not comment why they're only willing to reimburse for 4 years, a total of $3,400.
So if El Paso Water is going to say, well, we're depending on you to let us know, that's not reasonable because most people just do not have that specialty knowledge to advise them.
And Tupi says they provided 4 years of bank statements to prove they have been paying for this expense, but that EP Water should have access to the rest of the records, which they did not provide the residents. Tupi says they will be going to the Public Service Board on Wednesday to try to get a resolution or at least an explanation.